Chapter 12, Lesson 2, Histograms. You will be able to construct and analyze histograms. Data from a frequency table can be displayed as a histogram. A histogram is a type of bar graph used to display numerical data that have been organized into equal intervals. These intervals allow you to see the frequency distribution of the data, or how many pieces of data are in each interval. Now, this differs from a bar graph in a couple different ways. The first difference is that there are no spaces in between the bars. All the bars are touching. Now, in this case, there was a frequency of 0 for this interval. We still have to include it on our histogram, but that bar would just be non-existent, and the next bar would come right after it. Okay? Because all these intervals are equal, our bars have to be the same exact width. It also starts right up against this vertical line or y-axis. If you notice on the bottom, we don't have just single categories or numbers. We have ranges or intervals. So 25 to 49.99, and then it jumps to 50. This 49.99 can't be 50 because this one's 50. You can't have 50 in two different places because then you wouldn't know where to put the data value. So let's take a look and try and analyze the graph above. Refer to the histogram above. Describe the histogram. How many remote control airplanes cost at least $100? So before we answer this question, just let's write down some information that we see. Well, the first thing I can see, let's count each bar. So 25 to 49.99 looks like there are 9 amounts in there. The next interval is 7 amounts, 1 amount, 2, 0, and 1 again. So if we add those all up, 9 plus 7 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 1, I can see that there are a total of 20 prices recorded. That's the first thing I noticed. Also, we can say that more airplanes, we're talking about remote control airplanes here, more airplanes had prices between $25 and $49.99 than any other interval. And I know that because this is the tallest bar. We also can tell that there were no airplane prices in the interval 125 to 149.99. Okay, there's other information I'm sure you can pull from this, but we will stop at just those 3. Now, how many remote control airplanes cost at least $100? Here's our $100 mark. We want at least that much, which means I want $100 and up, which would be all of these intervals. Add those up, that would be 3 airplanes. So let's add that to our answer. 3 planes were at least $100. Letter B, we're using the same graph. Put my numbers back up there. We don't have to describe it again because we just did, but how many remote control airplanes cost less than $75? Well, here's $75. I don't want 75, but I want everything less than that, which would be these 2 intervals. Add those up, and we get 16. So 16 airplanes cost less than $75. Now let's go ahead and construct a histogram. The table shows the number of daily visitors to selected state parks. Draw a histogram to represent the data. So here we have our daily visitors, and our intervals are already made for us, so we're going to start with tallies. I have 108, which is here. 209 falls here in this interval. 171, 152, 236, 165, 244, 263, 212, 161, 327, 185. These are tallies, so I'm going to go ahead and cross that to make 5. 192, 226, 137, 193, 235, 207, 382, and 241. So now let's count up our tallies and write in our frequencies. The first one, I have a frequency of 2, then 7, 8, 1, 1, 1. Now I can draw my histogram. So in this interval, 100 to 149, I have 2. So go ahead and draw your bar, which looks like I'm going to have to draw a new one here at 2. Then I have one at 7. Make sure this first bar is touching the side, and our next bar goes up to 7. Our next bar, which is also touching, goes up to 8. Make sure they're about the same width. And then I have 1, 1, 1. I'm going to redraw this one here. Okay, so here are our bars. Let's go ahead and color them in. We have our labels already made for us and a title. So that is our histogram. Letter B. The list below shows a set of test scores. Choose intervals, make a frequency table, and construct a histogram to represent the data. So in order to choose intervals, we need to know our lowest number and our highest number. It looks like our lowest number is 65 here. And our highest, I have a 97, I have a 98, looks like 98. So we need to go from 65 to 98. If I counted by 5s, I only have 4 boxes here. If I counted by 5, 65, 70, 75, 80, that wouldn't be enough. If we count by 10, starting with 60, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, that would be enough. Now our intervals, when we start to write them here, the first interval would be 60 to 69. Our second interval would be 70 to 79. Our third interval would be 80 to 89. And our fourth interval would be 90 to 99. Now, when I said we were counting by tens, if you look at the first number in the interval, those do count by tens. I can't write my intervals as 60 to 70, 70 to 80, 80 to 90, 90 to 100. Because then when I have a number like 80, I wouldn't know where to put it. So that first number will be your counting by number. So if you count by tens, 60, 70, 80, 90. And to end your intervals, it would just be one less than the following interval. So this was 90, this one would be 89. Since this is 80, this would be 79. This is 70, that would be 69. So let's go ahead and draw in our tally marks. I'm going to do a couple at a time. 72, 97, 72, 97, 80, 86, 92, 98, 88, 76, 79, 82, 91, 83, 90, 76, 81, 94, 96, 92, 72, 83, 85, 65, 91, 92, 68, 86, 89, 97. Okay, let's count up our tallies. Our first interval has 2, then 5, 10, and 11. On our histogram, we do have all of our labels, scores, number of students, and test scores as our title. However, we have no numbers. The bottom is easy. The bottom are just our intervals. So we just put our intervals in. You can write them sideways if you need to. Okay. Now, our frequency, we go from 2 to 11. We can't count by ones. We would never make it to 11. But we could count by twos. So let's go ahead and count by twos on our y-axis here. This would be 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And let's draw our bars. First one is at 2, again starting on the left. Making sure this one touches. This goes to 5. The next one is at 10. And the last one is at 11. And let's shade those in. Oops. There's our histogram.